Denmark Hill, Camberwell, London, the International Training College. The founder dreamed of it, but did not live to see it come to fruition. But it is real enough now. A dream come true, and the tall red tower is a familiar landmark. This view is from Ruskin Park, where the children play and sometimes watch the cadets march by. The tall flag mast stands serene above the noise of the traffic. Beneath this flag, new hopes will rise, and young ardor find expression in faith and prayer and service. This girl, drawn into the orbit of this great center, and one of the thousands who have given their lives to be Salvation Army officers, must now go to be tested in a larger field to which God has called her, where great need awaits and where divine grace is in bounteous supply. Many young folk still seek fame and fortune in the great city, but this girl will find neither fame nor fortune, only hard work, much striving, and preparation for a great vocation. She is welcomed at the station with many others, all anxious, apprehensive, yet ready. She is not left to find her own way. Borne safely by special coach, they are thrilled spectators, country cousins come to town. But they have keen minds and are splendid raw material for the expert and consecrated teachers waiting to mold and finish them. The training principal is there to welcome them. They will hear him lecture, see him smile, note his sense of humor. But sometimes he must be stern, administer discipline. He is friendly, patient, highly skilled, specially chosen for his great task. Relations must leave them now, but loved ones know that the young people are in good hands. She is escorted to her house and to her own little cubicle, a little corner that will be hallowed by her many prayers, and where at first she will feel homesick and strange and perhaps a little lonely. She will learn more than ever the value of prayer and test the strength of her call and her dedication. If she is soft or changeable, she will not survive. In another wing, a boy is undergoing the same experiences, only trying to do so with the toughness considered essential in the male. A sergeant, one of a number of privileged cadets held over from the previous training session, takes him to his room, explains things, tries to make him feel at home. Soon there is a get-together, a welcome tea, at which the cadets are encouraged to forget homesickness. Tea parties are permitted social events to Salvationists, and welcome tea is a good means of overcoming initial strangeness and creating a family spirit. The daily curriculum begins with family prayers. Men who are not strong in prayer and in the love of the Bible learn to be so here, and the prayers of the young Salvationists forge a common bond, the tie that binds. Friendships blossom in these gatherings, which, strange though it may seem to the uninitiated, are occasions of great joy. The religion of Salvationists is a happy affair. Even the rules the boy must study do not make him too downcast. The place is tolerable, rules included. Now the lad reads the Bible for his own delight. The Word of God is to him a trusted guide. He will soon have to study it analytically as a student. He prays in the seclusion of his room. Love of the flag is carefully fostered by the college staff. The sessional flag is presented by the training principal to an upstanding lad who will carry it throughout the 9-month period of training. These young people are to be officers. They are to lead in a noble army. They must have esprit de corps. Girls who have been ladylike typists, secretaries, fastidious shop assistants, learn the plain, common-sense virtues of scrubbing and dusting in the good old-fashioned way. To be more than ladies, army officers must be practical ministers of the gospel. Even the men must straightway learn how to polish, scrub, and dust. In the poor quarters of the towns and cities, among the sick and the needy, the ability to clean a room may be worth more than 6 sermons. Then the inevitable happens during the break in toil. For Salvationists rival navvies and civil servants in their addiction to a cuppa. And, whisper it please, they are not averse to a chat as they pause. To be in the cadets' band is an honor, and the queue is long and eager for the auditions. The novice has dim hopes. The audition and scrutiny are exacting. Many are weeded out before the cadets' band can begin rehearsing. They are not merely competent brass bandsmen. They play the music of God. Their playing is a message. As the men play the instruments, so the girls sing. To be in the cadet singing brigade is many a good vocalist's ambition. The lassies come from songster brigades, army equivalent to church choirs. With their flag proudly borne before them, the new cadets march and sing and strive to influence the people towards God. William Booth used to say that the army was born in the open air. Nothing surpasses the old-fashioned personal approach. The megaphone makes the young lady sound like a town crier, but she is saved from the fear of what men think or say. Some have an instinct for this difficult art. Some have to be taught it. All must face it. It is given high priority in the Salvation Army. Down Oxford Street, used to mammoth Salvationist marches, the young people parade. It always makes the people stop and look and listen when the army is marching, and the young folk are specially proud of being cadets today. The famed Regent Hall, normally thronged with saints and sinners, ideal battleground for young folk seeking to prepare themselves for leadership in salvation warfare. Meetings sometimes appear to be unorthodox, especially at the rink, famed center of army aggression. The arrival of the morning mail is a very happy occasion. The cadets are not homesick now, but they still remember Mum and Dad, home and friends. Not all are remembered. One lad, seemingly forgotten, buries his head in a newspaper. There will be one for him tomorrow, perhaps. The cadets march away to the weekly holiness meeting at Camberwell, a traditional and zealously maintained activity of the International Training College. The commissioner takes the salute as they march off. Down the hill they go, singing and playing and fingering their tambourines. The people of Camberwell have mixed views about this weekly march, and the drummer holds his hand as he goes past certain houses where the baby is asleep. But the mass of opinion is friendly. The borough has often shown a possessive pride in the army, its cadets, and its marches. The greatest work of the college is probably the private, personal, behind-the-scenes interview system, which has developed over many years. The training principal seeks to get to know as many of the young people as possible. He has records, even a sort of dossier, but it is the cadet he must know, the person behind the shyness and the reserve and the fears. He explains some rules. He shows the lad a favorite picture, praying hands, hands that serve mankind. He commends the lad to God. Every separate cadet, boy or girl, is a separate challenge. Provincial and metropolitan, educated or artisan, some are English, some are not. All types are to be encountered. All are one in God. They meet sympathy, frankness, and understanding. Training college officers, though not prone to think of themselves as psychologists, are nonetheless well versed in the psychological approach, but they prefer to think of this as knowing human nature, or better still, knowing what God can do with human nature. Sometimes the cadet is praised, sometimes faulted, but the kindly, fair approach disarms hostility and removes fear. Many problems are solved by this interview system, which continues throughout the session. The study program is arduous. No slacker can hope to survive it. There are classes on international command and administration. What makes the Army tick? The missionary journeys of St. Paul need a map. Some of the young people falter. They need help, and get it, tactfully and readily. Notes of lectures refresh the memory for the exams which loom nearer every day. This young lady wishes that there were not so many notes, or that her memory was better than it seems to be. A systematic study of salvation with its biblical authority gives good groundwork for many talks and much counsel on the subject, which every Army officer must give. Minds unused to study need a little time to adjust themselves to this vigorous timetable. The studies lead inevitably to the first of 4 tests. As they approach the test room, they know that much depends upon the results. Further classes, promotion in scholastic order, and even future appointments. It is a time of tension, anxiety, self-questioning. Can I remember? Some make the awful last-minute discovery that their minds are completely blank. No papers or books are allowed, and being sincere Christians, there can be no cribbing. If physical exercises were not consistent and compulsory, the change from manual and active occupations to a life of study might be disastrous. The men are from many trades and professions. Some have come from the forces, and so PT comes naturally to them. Others have grown soft in indoor jobs. All must strive to keep fit now. The girls, well, they must be more genteel, but nevertheless adjust themselves to the idea that they are not just young ladies now. They are going to be officers in an army which will call upon them to lead the people. In the library under the tower, exercises for the mind are possible too. Although the range of books is wide, religion, biography, history, travel, and other serious subjects are the rule. There is little light reading and no flippant fiction. Time is treasured in this place. It was among the people, the common people, that William Booth found his destiny. The tactics of house-to-house visitation have to be carefully learned, and an old hand at the game is the teacher. Antagonism like this can be disarmed. Interest can be aroused by the right methods in personal dealing. One has to learn to find the right word and always be the essence of tact. Subjects range from the weather to rheumatism, or to long past Sunday school days. All the time, the real objective is, are you saved? Will you come to the meeting tonight? It is thus that many souls are won. The children love the Army. Influencing the young is one of the great objects of the training methods. The cadets go on evangelistic work in widely spread parties, specially chosen, with youth experts in charge to where children will gather. Puppets can charm the child mind. Interest is often roused more quickly through the eye than the ear alone. The Army believes in the ministry of women. Army women insist on the ministry of women. The girl learns that ministry exacts a price, but the lessons once learned produce splendid results. The way the girls who were formerly shy come out of their shells is well nigh incredible. Among the underprivileged, the lonely, and the sad, they go as angels of mercy. Another branch of the Army's work to be learned at first hand is the hostel service. Men cadets may be appointed for social service among the down and outs, for there are still such people even in a welfare state. They learn here what their new vocation may be. Hospital visitation is part of college training activity. Girl cadets, as one would expect, are welcome visitors where the sick lie patient and brave. There are so many beds in the ward, the old poem declared, but love encompasses everyone. A cheery word, a smile, and a prayer makes hearts glad. Down the streets where the people are, the Army girls walk on errands of mercy. The aged and lonely have first claim on their ministry. The old man wonders if she's after his tobacco money for collection, but she is there to give, not get. Children in playgrounds in Salvation Army homes look eagerly for the young folk from Denmark Hill. And a game is often the prelude to a word, to a prayer which can transform a young life, light a candle in the mind of a child. Down on the hop fields, where for many years the Army has ministered to the poor of the East End, earning the proud name, Army of the Helping Hand. In the evenings, the open-air gatherings attract. The children find it wonderful. A little child shall lead them, the old song used to proclaim. The cadets find that when they interest the boys and girls, they attract the grown-ups too. The cadets are taught microphone technique and how to use modern methods of sound amplification. The challenge of the gospel of Christ is presented without fear and with competence born of patience and experience. Now and again, these cadets, who are part of an army, take part in a field day, large-scale evangelistic attacks on the forces of sin. Now the commissioner commends them to God, in whose name they will fight and by whose power they will conquer. They pray with him before going forth on their combined ops. Publicity and local arrangements are completed. Buses take them to their points of assignment. Back at the college for a spiritual day. Visiting missionary officers bring new aspects and inspiration to the cadets. Thus is fostered ambition for wider service. Soon Christmas comes round. A carol service is held before the cadets go home for a brief break, to which many hundreds of Londoners throng. Christmas is a halfway house, and the commissioner can tell of progress made, work still to be done. He wishes all a happy Christmas. Fare at the college is normally good but plain, but the treasurer dips a little deeper into the bank balance at this festive season. The Christmas dinner is an occasion when the cooks can kill the fatted chickens. The goodwill of Christmas manifests itself in the good sing-song. Where is the strangeness and loneliness now? They would hardly want to go home if Mum and Dad were not expecting them so much. In the spring of the year comes the self-denial campaign. This is a real fight for a girl somewhat reserved. But on the battlefield it turns out to be far less hazardous than was expected. The people are mostly friendly and often generous. She is often pitied, but the pity is wasted. Few say no. Her uniform, her manner, her faith speak for her. She is a beggar for God, as William Booth used to say. One can take a pride in such a task. Her task over, she wants to know how much the people have given to the Army's good work. There is friendly rivalry among the cadets. This Army will sing its way round the world, a great man once said. The time comes when the notice board is the special focus of attention. The assignments for the great 10-day evangelistic campaign are expected. The cadets are sent in parties all over the country. The big questions are where, with whom, who will be in charge. The board gives the right answers and jubilation results. Briefing and intense training, preparation and prayer have built up great expectations. The young folk go off. They go with God to dare all for him. In the town or village to which they are sent, local details will have been taken care of. The commanding officer on the spot will have spent a few shillings on a poster. Children have been rounded up, schools visited. The young folk come full of zest and curiosity. What are they like, these foreigners from London? Doesn't she talk funny? One child says to another. Many will yield to this savior of the children about whom the cadets speak and sing. The local bandsmen are interested too. After a hard day's work, they turn out in force to play the visitors round the town. Such marches are the climax to a day the cadets have spent visiting door to door. Everyone knows there's something on at the Army. The meeting indoors will be powerful, and it is hoped that pastoral work will bring a reward in new people at the meeting, conversions, victories for the kingdom of God. Monday morning gatherings after a campaign are times of sharing and rejoicing. In their prayers, they remember far-off lands. The international spirit is strong. Every land is my fatherland, because every land is my father's land, General Bramwell Booth used to say. Prayer subjects are posted up for such gatherings. This girl hopes to be a medical missionary. Trained as a nurse, she had heard the call to add the apostolic benediction to the training and skill of her profession. A new training principal takes over. Though the session is yet in progress, the unusual must sometimes be done. He can smile too. He has the basic source of happiness common to all true Salvationists, and with the cadet sergeants, he relaxes. Covenant Day. For cadets, a climax to the session. On this great occasion, when all the vows and promises are crystallized, all the contingencies considered, it is still possible to withdraw if one cannot sincerely go forward. On their knees before God, the cadets ask for strength. There is no going back. The covenant undertaking, easy to read but not easy to fulfill. Like the words before another famous battle, it promises the equivalent of sweat, blood, and tears. To be a Salvation Army officer is a wonderful calling, but it is not for weaklings. Yet God never asks of his children more than they can perform. The commissioning. At the Royal Albert Hall, with all tickets sold months before the event, spare seats quite unobtainable. Mum and Dad and proud brothers and sisters, friends, comrades from the old corps are all up to town for the big event. Soon the cadets will learn their destination. Up to now, this has been kept a well-kept military secret. The boy who carries the flag wonders which flag he will march with soon. Will there even be a flag? If not, he will get one. Married couples come up together to receive their commissions. They line up along the platform. The spotlights play upon them. They are white-faced and tense. It is a crucial moment, 0 hour. A piece of white card from the commissioner, a spoken place name, and the suspense is over. It is often far from home. They may face loneliness, hazard, indifference, many tests. But they are trained and capable. God will be with them. At night, a dramatic presentation is traditional as an epilogue to the commissioning. Bible scenes are enacted on the stage. Salvationists may vary their methods, but never their aim, the salvation of men. Even the gaiety of the ungodly is impersonated as the dramatic form is built up and the inevitable finale reached. Only in God can salvation be found. Children under the Army's care give a display. And after other scenes, Mrs. Commissioner Allen, wife of the Chief of Staff, presents the Order of the Silver Star. The flag of the session is brought up to the platform. Praying hands again. The lesson has been well learned. Now it could easily be anticlimax, for it is back to Camberwell, the farewell weekend. They are going down for the last time, down the hill, through the familiar streets, to bid goodbye and say God bless to many friends. The building will be packed with visitors, some to whom the cadets have often spoken, pleading that they should accept salvation. They are praying now, these newly commissioned officers, that great victories will be won tonight. They can never come back again. This is the end of a phase in their lives. In many hearts in far-flung places, the prosaic name Camberwell will ever bring memories of happy and blessed times. Now the flag ceremony, almost the last great occasion. First, the flags of many nations where the Salvation Army works are brought forward and carried down the hall. Then the flag of the session follows. The flag that has meant so much cannot lightly be put aside. Dedicated, carried proudly by the lad who has borne it so long, it is presented to the commissioner who places it in the special corner reserved for it. There it will remain through the years, with the flags of all the other sessions beside it. At times, the cadets will come back and renew their vows here. The brave and tough try to hide their tears, keep back emotions which would betray their pent-up feelings. Already their luggage is packed and on its way. Farewell and a last farewell. Those who had misgivings about coming seem now not to want to go away. Don't forget to write. Tell me what it's like. I shall see you at the council. The final words are spoken, little sayings to hide the deeper thoughts. And as the coaches move off, a chapter in the life of youth is closed. And so their training complete. They go forth to all parts of the country, to all parts of the world. At the railway station, the boat train gets up steam. And two of the newly commissioned officers, missionaries to Africa, take leave of comrades and of their motherland. They are trained, devoted, ready for anything. And out in the dark continent, great need faces them. They follow in the footsteps of others who have gone out in the past from this college to many parts of the world, including Africa, South America, Malaya, India and Pakistan, Burma, Hong Kong, Indonesia, and the West Indies. The war is on. These new officers have joined the forces, trained, ready to lead, to preach salvation in the homeland and across the seas. The call of Christ is to you. Are you willing to deny yourself, to take up your cross and follow him? Then join the ranks of this marching army beneath the banner of yellow, red, and blue.